morning. Anime. Hi. How are you doing this morning or this afternoon? I think it's afternoon. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. This morning I woke up with a little bit of a headache and just feeling slightly off, like I'm catching a cold or something. Still easing it, I guess. I made quiche for dinner last night. It was great. Not quite the way I hoped, a little softer than I would like. So there's like a few things that I learned from this experience. The first one was like no sauce whatsoever. Cook it till it's dry. Make sure it's still no moisture whatsoever. Um, Besides the moisture in the quiche, another thing I could have done better. Hmm. Right, I made one veggie quiche. There were 3 people eating from the veggie quiche, and there were 2 people eating from the meat quiche. And I put the meat into 2 small dishes, and the veggie quiche into one big dish. I should have done it the other way around. I thought there were 3 people eating the veggie and 3 people eating the meat. But one of them had already eaten. One of us had already eaten. My partner said to me this morning, "You look like shit. You look sick." And I said, "Hey, it looks a lot. It's worse than it looks. I feel worse than I look." And she was like, "What can I get you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll get myself some medicine if I need to." C CF Cfen liqueur. My lip sync is out. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to adjust it now, but what I will do is increase the volume, give you more volume so that you can hear me better. Where's advanced audio properties? There it is. Push that from 200 to 300%. Let's see. That should be better, right? You can hear me better now? Or do I need to go even louder? Advanced audio properties. Let's go to 350. Okay. Hopefully that's fair. Chris Finlay from Facebook. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome. It's good to get to know you. We've also got Rupali Khanna on YouTube. Hey Rupali, it's good to have you back. Rupali's asking, what are Mayank's current thoughts and feelings towards me? I don't know, hey? I wish that at some point, Rupali, you could like become discerning of your own and like be able to read him of your own accord, not actually needing a tarot spread to understand what he's thinking and feeling. Empathy is something all humans can develop. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give you a reading. And Chris says, "Hope all is well, my friend. Everything will be fine. Thank you for your concern, though. Everybody's a little bit, everyone's a little bit under the weather after our return from Cape Town. You know, the exposure to all the different bacteria in the air. Lowered our immune system due to eating unhealthy and not eating, you know. You must be very good at hiding it, Tony. You must be very good at masking. You must be a master magician. Excuse me, I don't mean to be sarcastic. Cool. So you say you stopped chatting with him and now you're chatting again and you want to know where it's going to go. I almost feel like it's just going to repeat the same cycles, you know? You keep on doing this, keep on not chatting and then chatting again and you want to know what's going to happen. It's like the same cycle just wants to keep repeating itself. Unless you make a change in the way that you interact with it, or he makes a change, it's just going to keep repeating itself, you know? You were watching Azura earlier, says Chris. Yo, I could hear her. I was inside. We typically don't watch each other's streams, so we don't lower each other's bandwidth. Yeah, Joe was streaming yesterday, and I streamed yesterday. Anyway, here's Rupali's question. Where is Rupali's relationship with my uncle going to go? Past, present, and future. I feel a sense of comfort in this deck, in reading tarot. Your first card is the Devil reversed. So this card is talking about resistance, and yeah, it's your past interval, so it's something you guys have been through, where you've been against one another in your thoughts and your emotions. In this card, the Devil stands over two universes. He's got two balls underneath, two spheres. And in the one sphere, everyone is like ignoring each other, just traveling in their own direction, doing what they need to do. And in the other sphere, everyone's like trying to put the other one down. And there's one guy with horns who's standing over everyone else. So these are the two types of enemies, the two types of conflictors. There's the type who, like, when there's conflict, they're like, okay, I'm just going to mind my own business, and you mind your own business, and we're not going to get in each other's faces. And then there's the other type of enemy, the other type of conflictor, who, as soon as there's conflict, then he has to be better, he has to be right. So just be mindful of which one it's been for you. When I see the card reverse, it's usually that trying to be better. It's like he's trying to be better than you, he's trying to be right. You're trying to be better than him, you're trying to be right. Trying to make the other one seem like that one's in the wrong. This is something you've been through. This is what caused you guys to stop talking. So I guess in that way, it was a good thing. It switched. It went from being the Devil reversed to the Devil the right way around, where you were both just doing your own thing. Knight of Swords is your present interval. So my uncle is currently like re-examining what he understands his purpose to be, and the purpose of this relationship is like re-examining it. What he thought he wanted from the relationship, he's letting go of that. He's allowing a new. Yeah, he had an understanding of what this relationship is going to look like and what the purpose of the relationship was, and he's letting that go. He's like, whatever, I don't need to have this preconceived idea of what the relationship should look like. Instead, he's trying to allow the purpose of the relationship to birth itself, so that the relationship can tell him what its purpose is, rather than him trying to say, this is your purpose. And that's healthy. That's a healthy new shift. The card is the right way around, which means that he is at peace with this. Um, his thoughts are not in conflict with this reality. He's like not trying to. He's not trying to force it to be. He's not struggling to let go of his own preconceptions. He's just letting it go and allowing the relationship to grow at its own pace. So that's a good change. Maybe we won't see the same cycles repeat. Your future interval, the Queen of Cups. So this is talking about what you want in your emotional self from the relationship, both of you. It wants you to take a hint from this present interval where Mayank is letting go of his preconceived ideas of what the relationship should be. It wants you to do the same thing, because if you do that, if you can let go of what you want the relationship to look like, and you can let the relationship grow of its own accord, and let it tell you what it's going to look like, then you're more likely to find the emotional fulfillment that you're looking for. The card also wants to point out that when you look at Mayank and when he looks at you, you guys are seeing your own reflection, and that reflection is warped. You're only seeing certain aspects of yourselves reflecting in one another. You're not actually perceiving the other as what they are. You're seeing a reflection of the things that you like and don't like about yourself. You're projecting that image. Um, Being aware of that is key, because then you don't have to respond. Like when he does something and it reminds you of something about yourself you don't like, and you don't have to retaliate. You can acknowledge that you're just seeing an aspect of yourself, and that his intentions are not necessarily what your intentions would have been if you had said something like that. And lastly, the card wants to remind you that you've got to be emotionally fulfilled in yourself. So your desire for emotional fulfillment has to come from yourself, and he has to find his emotional fulfillment in himself, and only then can your relationship really, the cup of your relationship overflow. Selah. Yes, Rupali says this time you're thinking of talking openly. I'd say that's a good idea. Just speak openly. Chris asks, was that me he heard walking around in the background on the Zura stream? No, I was in bed, so I was in the room and in bed. Um, I did come out and make coffee, so maybe you did hear me. Good morning or good afternoon, Shital Gopani on Facebook. And you're most welcome, Rupali Khanna. Most welcome. Chris says, I had a dream the other night and it was weird because I had a female angel with wings along with a male angel with sword and shield standing over me. That's pretty cool. So did you dream you were just laying in bed and this angel and this knight were guarding you? That's pretty intense. My sleep paralysis is never that amazing. My sleep paralysis is like shadowy figures staring at me. Like all these hooded people just like standing around the bed staring at me. That's more like my sleep paralysis. Anyway, Shital Kapani wants some financial guidance. Cool. Chris says he was having a nightmare and then these angels and this knight appeared. It was a strange dream. Hectic. It's quite beautiful though. How can Shital improve her financial situation? Past and present and future. Oh, again we see the devil in the past position. Crazy. So Shital, this is talking about conflict, challenges and conflict and adversity from your environment and from yourself and from people in your life. So you've had like inspiration and ideas on how you can secure yourself and your family financially. And whenever you bring them up or you try and step into it, then you experience resistance from those around you and from your environment. The card is not reversed, so these challenges and these resistances are things that you've been pushing through, and you've been standing your ground, which is admirable, and it is the right way to behave in those situations. It is bringing you closer to the financial security you're looking for. It helps you evolve as you endure the conflict and the struggle. It helps you get stronger and get better at staying true to your own commitments to yourself. So that's something that you've been through. In the present, we're looking at the moon reversed. So this card is all about realization. A realization in the terms of like manifestation. It's becoming real. Your financial security and your whatever is going on with your finances and your physical reality is becoming real. Um, realization not only in the form of manifestation, but also realization, like realizing that you actually have the tools and the power that you need to make the manifestation happen. The card is reversed, and this indicates to me that it's scary when you see the things are happening. It's scary because you're not sure that you have the strength or the commitment to make sure that you hold it. You're afraid that as it's coming into your plane, you're also going to drop it, or you're not going to have, just not going to have the commitment that's necessary to hold the manifestation so that it stays in your present. Um, More than that, you also set some intentions that are not necessarily aligned with the vision you want. So you have this vision of the financial security that you want and this job that you want to manifest or this business you want to create, and you're realizing it, but there are some intentions that you've set that are not aligned with the vision. So the picture that you've created of the perfect business or the perfect job or whatever, some of the things that you're realizing into your present are not aligned with that. And this card wants to suggest that you be flexible and not let those things go because they're not aligned. Rather, just find ways that you can still incorporate them into bringing you income. Like even if it's not the way that you wanted it to be, this little um, side job or whatever side stream of income, use it. Let it bring stuff in. As long as it's not preventing you from reaching your goal, allow it to help you get to your goal. Future interval is the Aeon, number 20 of the trumps. And so this one is here to tell you what you need to do now in your present in order to see that financial security made real for yourself. So this card talks all about self-judgment. It's about observing yourself, taking responsibility for the wrongs that you've done, taking responsibility for yourself. Like if you live in a space with others and you leave something, you like pack all your stuff into a room where that's someone else's space, and you're expecting them to take responsibility for it and pack it away and get it out of the way. No, you must take responsibility. You've got to acknowledge in yourself that it's your stuff and it's your responsibility to take care of it. That's an example. Um, if you want to eat, you got to cook, that kind of thing. Taking responsibility for yourself. So, if you want this, business and this financial security, then you need to acknowledge in yourself the ways that you have prevented that from being real for yourself in the past. Like, oftentimes we say, "Oh, it won't work because of X, Y, and Z," and so then we justify abandoning the project that we've been working on. So to look at yourself in your past cycles and see where you've done things like that, and then make conscious decisions to change and not do the same things now, because now you're in the new Aeon. You judge yourself in the old period of your life, and you make a choice that this is the end of that period, and now things are going to be different. I acknowledge where I was wrong. I acknowledge where I didn't take responsibility for myself, and starting this moment, when I'm confronted with those situations, I am going to take responsibility. I'm not going to self-sabotage. I'm going to channel my emotions instead of reacting to them. That's what this card is telling you needs to happen in your present if you want to see your vision made real. Selah. Welcome to the chat, Ritik. Ritik says, hello, can I have a reading, please? Yes, what would you like your reading to be on? Do you have a specific question you'd like answered? Or, I don't know, do you want a general reading? Because I can do that. T. Tara on YouTube says, hello. Shital Gafani on Facebook says, thank you so much. You're welcome, Shital. You're welcome. T. Tara, I just liked and subscribed. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Every like and subscription is invaluable. If you'd like a reading, give me a question. Or I can also do general reading. Yes, of course, T. Tara. You can go ahead and ask something. Ritik Koshal on Facebook says, thanks, I'm struggling financially, so I'm assuming you'd like a financial reading. Ritik. So Titara, I'm still waiting for your question. I'm assuming that you're asking me psychically, and I could just throw down a spread and read it for you. Yeah, and it will probably answer your question. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but Ritik was here a little bit earlier than you were, so I'm going to start with Ritik's reading, his financial reading, and then I'll answer your question. Okay, I want to know why will not work out the future marriage between Jay, Sagittarius, and Lucas, Gemini. Okay, awesome. You'll get your reading in a sec. No problem. So, how can Ritik end his financial struggles? You've got a wild card, Ritik. You've got a wild card. So past, present, and future. Starting with the wild card, it is a 3 of cups. So, this is talking about an absence of hope in your emotions. You're like feeling depressed. You also feel like the feminine archetype in your life, if that's a mother or a partner or a daughter or whatever, you feel like you're not able to give them the fulfillment that they're looking for. You're not able to give them the abundance and security they're looking for in their emotional selves. And this is spilling. This is like having a bounce effect. It's making you feel shitter and more hopeless, and which in turn makes them feel shitter and more hopeless. And yeah, this card wants to insist that you take a look at yourself and you start turning that around. So you feel this depression and this hopelessness, and you turn it around and you be like, I'm going to use this emotional energy, whether it's healthy or not for me right now. I need to channel it, and stop reacting to it, allowing it to derail me from the process, and start using it to inspire me and like drive me forward to make a change. Past interval, the Fool, reversed. So this card is talking about a leap of faith. You were faced with a decision and you didn't know what the outcome would be. This is past interval. So you took a leap of faith. You had a lot of fear about it. It was probably quitting your job um, and starting your own business or whatever, something like that. And so you took a leap of faith into this new journey, and it didn't work out the way you hoped it would. It left you struggling, like you said, struggling financially. And it's what has brought you to your presence, which is number 8 of the trumps, reversed. It's called adjustment. So this card is all about finding balance. And this is saying that in the present moment, you are going through some shifts. Um, in the way that you deal with your resources and your environment and those around you, the way you interact with your own emotions, the way, yeah, just about your entire lifestyle. You're making shifts, you're going through shifts, and you're making changes to create balance in your income and your expense, so that you're not struggling with debt, so that every month goes by, you don't have to borrow from people or from your bond or whatever. You're trying to make adjustments to the way that you handle everything your whole life, so that there is more balance between what you are bringing in, the value that you're bringing in, whether that's spiritual value, physical value, emotional value. You want a balance between what's coming in and what's going out. You'll probably feel like you've been giving a lot more emotional support than you've been receiving. You probably feel like most of your life you've been expected to be a support structure financially, and now that you're struggling, no one else is able to hold you, and so you're making these adjustments, and it's difficult, it's painful, but they're necessary. If you want to start investing in yourself and in whatever business venture you're with, this balance is 100% necessary. So well done for going through it. It's difficult and frightening and challenging, and it causes people pain because they have to let go of their old lifestyle and the way they've been doing things. Your future interval, it's the Five of Wands. So this card, it is saying that um, you have certain resources. So you have a desire for financial security. You have this desire to stop struggling financially, and you have certain resources and certain knowledge at your disposal that you can use to make your desires real for yourself and your family. Um, there are limitations to those resources, and there are limitations to your knowledge, but the card wants you to apply them right now in your present, because if you don't start taking action, you won't you won't find the day where you stop struggling. So right now there is struggle. The card is reversed. There is challenge and there's struggle, because your resources and your knowledge are limited. But if you apply them and you sow the seeds and you take action now, you will find you will arrive in that place where you're no longer struggling financially. You will each As you go, you will get a little bit higher up. You'll learn new things. You'll As you invest, you will receive returns on those investments, and then you'll have more resources at your disposal to invest again. And yeah, that's what this card wants to tell you. In order to arrive in the future that you want, where you're no longer struggling, you need to apply what you do have right now in the present, even if it is a struggle. Senna. T. Tara, I think you misunderstood. I was giving a reading to someone else. Your reading is next. T. Tara, your reading is up next. Alfred on Facebook, welcome. Hi, would love a reading, of course. And we've also got Tamo Yika. Hi. Is there a list? If so, may I please be added? Also, was that a rooster or a chicken I heard in the background? Yes, it's a rooster that you heard. Ritik says, "Oh man, you are so accurate. Loved it. Thanks a lot." No problem, Ritik. Please, please feel free to share this video. Please feel free to follow my page and to send me a donation if you're by the means. All of those things would be very much appreciated. Then we have Suba Priya, um, who says, "When will I be getting married to my boyfriend?" Also on Facebook. Alright guys, so there is a list. T Tara on YouTube is up next. And then we have T Tara says, "Oh my god, sorry. Ha ha ha." Anyway, T Tara, you're next. So I'll please drop your question and I'll do it. And then Suba will be next. Suba Priya after T Tara, and then Tamo Yuka. Yes, there is a list, so we've got two people up ahead of you. Just drop your question and I will answer your question in the order that I see it. Awesome. T Tara wants to know if the marriage to Jay is going to work out. Let me just scroll up in the chat and check on that. Okay, T-Tara, I have an idea. I'm gonna ask the pendulum if this marriage between Jay and Lucas is gonna work out. And then depending on what that answer is, then I will consult the tarot. Because you're asking me why will it not work out, as if you already know that it's not going to work out. Now, please forgive me, but I don't trust other tarot readers. Most of them talk a whole load of shit. So, yeah, unless I've received a reading for myself and I can resonate with it, I'm not going to just trust any other tarot reader. But anyway, on behalf of T-Tara, will the marriage between Jay, the Sagittarius, and Lucas, the Gemini, work out? Okay, so the pendulum is agreeing that it's not going to work out. Interesting. Now we can ask the tarot why. So, why will this marriage between Lucas and Jay not work out? Past, present, and future intervals. So, in the past we have a Princess of Wands. So this card talks about overcoming fear. So leaping towards the manifestation of one's desires um, by engaging creativity, like looking into oneself and saying, okay, this is my potential, and I'm creative in this way, and I'm going to use that potential and that creativity, and I'm going to do this thing and make my desires come true, and I'm going to let go of fear, because fear is the only thing that's getting in my way. That's what this card talks about. It's reversed and it's in the position of the past. So this is telling me that this is one of the reasons that this relationship is not going to endure, because at some point one of them is going to do this and the other one is not going to be able to do it, and that's going to create distance between them, resentment between them, envy and jealousy. Something I've experienced in relationships where I have made decisions like this, or I've had my partner make decisions like this, and then I've watched them like grow and leave me behind, and it creates distance and resentment. That's past intervals. This is something that's already happened in this relationship between Joe and Lucas, Jay and Lucas. So in the present, there's a Two of Swords. So this card, very interesting. It's talking about potential for focus, like to develop one's focus. It talks about potential for like intuitive abundance, really connecting with one's intuition, potential to learn how, um, potential to embody one's purpose, like to let go of all the preconceived ideas of what society tells us is our purpose, and to actually look at our heart's desire and say, this is actually what I want, and I'm going to take steps towards realizing it. That's actually what purpose is. So this card is talking about potential for abundance and value and purpose and thought and intuition. The card is reversed, so it's telling me that in the present, Jay and Lucas both have this opportunity, this potential, um, but one or both of them is not. They're trying to reach for this gateway, they're trying to claim this potential for themselves, but one or both parties is not able to commit, because in order to realize this intuitive value, and in order to really embody one's purpose, you need to commit to yourself, and you need to have endurance and the ability to go for long periods of time without fulfillment until you eventually reach that end goal where you've got the value you started out looking for. So one or both parties is not committing to themselves in this journey, and that is also something that's creating distance, as the one that is prepared to commit is feeling betrayed by the other one who's not committing. It's probably something that they both agreed to do together, and now one of them is not committing, and the one who is committing then feels betrayed by the one who is not committing, and the one who is not committing feels worthless and yeah, not good enough. future interval. It is the pool zero of the trumps, and it talks about taking the leap of faith. So this card is saying that the relationship can work, but it might not be the best thing for both parties. They can make it work, and they can make it last, but it's probably not the best thing for either of them. They're probably both going to experience a downward evolution where they get disconnected from what their true purpose is and disconnected from what their true desires are if they stay in this relationship. Yeah, because one of the parties is not taking initiative, and so that one is going to hold the other one back. So this card is all about taking a leap of faith. So that leap of faith can either be stay in the relationship, trust the process, and it's reversed. It's going to be difficult, and it's probably not going to be very aligned with what they actually wanted from their lives, but there will be fulfillment of its own kind. Family can grow, you know, abundance and value of other forms can manifest, um, or the other way, leap of faith, leaving the relationship and pursuing their desires independently. Um, yeah, I hope this helps. I hope it helps you understand why the relationship isn't going to work, or this future isn't really set. It's not something that happens to you. The future is something that you grab a hold of and pull into your present. So if they want a future where they are together, they can make that happen, but there are sacrifices they're going to have to make. If they want a future where they have where they have their dreams, they might have to let go of their relationship. It's also a future that they're going to have to grab and bring into their present. It's not something that's just going to happen to them. So there you go, T-Tar. Thank you so much. Okay, so we've got Amaris Cunningham. Welcome. May I have a read? If you need to ask a question, scrolling down to see what's going on with the chat so far. We've got Subapriya up next. Amazing. Subapriya wants to know if she's going to get married to her boyfriend. I'm also going to do a pendulum reading for you, Suba, because this is like a yes or no question that you're asking me. And the tarot doesn't like yes or no questions. The tarot wants to tell you about your whole life. It doesn't want to just answer your question. Well, this tarot deck, anyway, doesn't like to give straightforward answers. It does. It gives very straightforward, blunt answers, but it's never just about one topic. It's like this thing that happened in the past is part of this and that just brings the whole reality that you've been experiencing into why you're experiencing what you're currently experiencing. This will just tell you yes or no. You're going to get married or you're not going to get married. So your question is, when will I be getting married? That's something you've got to That's something you've got to decide, You've got to decide when you're getting married. And I'll ask this thing if you are even going to get married. Will Subapriya marry her boyfriend? Yes. Pendulum is saying yes. So the way this works, guys, when I enchanted this pendulum, I had to calibrate it. I had to ask it questions that I already knew the answer to, whether it's true or false. So when I asked it, like, is there milk in the fridge? And it rotated clockwise. I was like, okay, there is milk in the fridge. Then I asked it, like, am I wearing makeup? And I wasn't at the time. So then it, like, rocked side to side. And I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to wear makeup. So, yeah. Right now it rotated clockwise, so the answer is yes, you will be marrying your boyfriend. To expand on that though, you need to choose. You need to choose when you're going to marry your boyfriend. And I'm going to pull you one card. Help Suba understand when she will be marrying her boyfriend. So you've got a Four of Discs, and the Four of Discs talks about applying authority over your physical environment and your financial resources. So basically, this card wants to say that when you and your boyfriend are secure in your finances and your home environment, when you're feeling safe, in other words, when you have a home space that is safe and you have enough resources to make sure you stay fed and to make sure you've got running water and basic necessities, that's when it'll be time to be married. That's when you'll be able to start dedicating resources towards paying for a wedding. Because, I mean, even if you don't have a reception, you're still going to have to, there are still going to be expenses, traveling to the courthouse, paying for the documents, etc. But there you go. Lauren Featherstone, hi, would love a reading, please. Awesome. So, Amaris Cunningham says, how does Tyler feel about me? I believe it's your turn, Amaris. I believe it's your turn. And have a look at what else is being said in the chat, though. Hmm. Tamar says, where do I go from here? Tamar says, thank you, virtual hug. Rakesh Kumar, struggling to get a job. Tamar says, I love the way you read. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate the recognition. Al Pedersen says, relationship. Sajita Sharma says, voice very low. I can try and improve that. I've already increased the volume so many times, but I'm going to lift the volume again. Make it louder again. Advanced audio properties. 450% volume. Just keep going higher and higher and higher. Is that okay? It still looks the same. It doesn't look like anything is changing. It's weird. Advanced audio properties, let's make it 500%. 500% volume, that's better. That's better. Super Priya says thank you very much. Lauren Featherstone is looking for general life advice. Amazing, guys. So the next one in line is Amaris Cunningham. How does Tyler feel about me? Says Amaris. Amaris Cunningham on YouTube. How does Tyler feel about me? Past, present, future intervals. Three of Swords in the position of the past. So Tyler is observing that you had some knowledge about your intuition and how to interact with it. You had some kind of understanding about what your purpose was, what your purpose is. You understand your own thought processes, and this makes it easy for you to read other people's thought processes. So this is something he's perceived in you in the past. He also observes a certain degree of hope that you have for your own purpose, like seeing yourself realize what you want out of life. He sees that you have hope for that, and you give other people hope and inspiration. As you step out and embody your purpose, you inspire and give hope to others by acknowledging hope that's within yourself. In the present, so Tyler is looking at you and the relationship that you guys are developing. It might not be serious yet, but he's seeing that you make him aware of his own limitations, and he makes you aware of your limitations, and this is difficult for both of you to acknowledge. It's difficult for you both to acknowledge that you are doing the best that you can, but it's still not enough. However, because you guys are both doing the best that you can with what you know and with what you have, so that's like with your finances, with your emotions, with your spirituality, everything. Um, you have a certain amount of knowledge and resources that you're applying to the best of your ability, both of you. Um, and you're still making one another aware of how that's still not good enough. It is good enough. It's the best that you can do. That's all that anyone can ask. But you're seeing that there's still limitations. There's still limitations on your resources. There's still limitations on your knowledge. Both of you have these limitations, and you're making each other aware. But at the same time, you're also giving one another the pieces of the puzzle that you need to get past those limitations. So he has knowledge and he has resources that he can lend to you and give to you energetically and physically, which help you get past your limits, and you do the same for him. However, the fact that you're both having to acknowledge that you are limited in your resources and your knowledge is difficult and makes the relationship a struggle. Um, yeah, it's difficult, but it's good. It's a healthy relationship that you guys are developing. It's pushing you both past your previous limits. Your future interval is the 10 of the trumps. It's called fortune. So this is all about completion, complete cycle. The seeds that you sowed are now ready to be reaped. Um, yeah, it's reversed. So it's telling me that there were some intentions that were sown into this relationship that were not necessarily savory, that were perhaps a little bit self-serving on both ends. So you had some self-serving intentions when you started this relationship and you reached out, and he had some unsavory intentions as well. And you guys planted those things in the beginning of the relationship along with positive intentions. And now it's come all the way around and those things are ready to be reaped, or it's opening now. Like the harvest, the returns on your investments are about to be received. And this card wants to make you aware that you're going to get some positive returns that are helping you get past your limits. And there are some that are going to be difficult to work with, some that are going to be negative as a reflection of the negative intentions that were sown. Yeah, you're probably just going to see behind the mask a little bit and notice that there were some hidden things in the beginning, but that's from both sides. You hid some things, some of your shadow, and he hid some of your shadow, um, rather than being transparent, and that's going to come around. It's coming around. It's about to manifest. Just something to keep in mind. Hope that resonates. Mm. Adjusting the chat so I can see it and my time. So next in line is Tamoika. Where do I go from here, says Tamoika. Okay, my video froze for a sec, but it's back. Alright, where do you go from here? Tamoika. Okay, I'll do your reading and then I'm gonna... Actually, I need the toilet. So I'm gonna take a little break before I do your reading. I'm gonna use the toilet, then I'm gonna make some coffee, and yeah, have a cigarette. And you guys can come with me, not to the bathroom, but to the kitchen you can. So a cool thing about this setup that I've got going here is that everything is wireless. Camera's wireless, laptop's wireless, everything's done through Wi-Fi. Yeah, so the video feed goes from the camera to the laptop, which then goes through to Restream, which is distributed again across all 4 platforms. It's a bit dark in here, eh? Get some water flowing. Don't need too much. Yeah, that's too much. I'll put some in this cup and use it later. Yeah, some cheap Nescafe coffee. Wonder, does anyone here know coffee? Anyone in the chat? You guys drink this stuff? I much prefer, like Nescafe. Even filter coffee is better. The stuff is more chicory than coffee. Need some milk. Hey. Yeah, so 2 ladies inside, that is the Adri and Lady Azura. You can find their streams on the channels Unconventional Couple and Priestess Azura on Twitch. Okay. So, Tamohika. Where do I go from here? Says Tamo. Where does Tamo go from here? Six of Swords. You're past past interval. So this talks to me about interacting with others recently, um, being in a group of people or having a relationship with someone, and that relationship being difficult as it makes you aware of your own limits, but at the same time giving you the knowledge and resources you need to overcome those limits. In your present, we've got the seven of the trumps. It's called the Chariot. So this card is a direct answer to your question where to go from here. This card is saying to me that you have um, a whole lot of ideas of where you want to go, where you want your life to take you. But because of this, because of having all of these different visions and different outcomes, you're not actually your life isn't actually traveling in any specific direction. So this card wants you to choose, like to make a decision and choose which vision you're going to manifest. Um, Choose which one is aligned with what you actually want, and then start taking steps towards manifesting it. Set your life in that direction. Yeah, let your life carry you towards that one destination. With having all of these different options and not knowing which one you really want, leaves you in stasis. You don't actually end up going anywhere. Once you choose one, you can actually start moving towards it. Future interval. So this is the Knight of Discs, and this one wants to say that this is something you need to do right now in your present if you want to manifest the future you choose. It's saying that what you really want is going to require that you let go of what you currently have and are doing. So it's discs, which is to do with earth and finances, and the Knight is about death and rebirth. So basically, this card is saying that you need to let go of whatever it is that you have currently been using as a means to bring in income, or your physical environment, like whatever place you're currently staying in. Um, there's something about your physical environment and your income that you're going to have to let go of so that you can start actually manifesting what you want from your finances, the reality, the financial reality and the career that you actually want for yourself. In order to have it, to allow it to be born, you're going to have to let go of what you currently, the thing that you're doing now that's not aligned with you, you're going to have to let it go of it so that you can give birth to the thing that is aligned with you. Selah. Okay. Next, we have relationship advice for Alfred. How can Al improve her relationship? Alright. Your past interval L, it's the Seven of Cups, so this is talking about having a lot of different emotions, um, things in your environment causing all these different emotions to stir in you, and you being unwilling or unable to face them, and so instead looking to distracting yourself with something like cigarettes or coffee or binge eating or binge watching series or anything like that, any kind of addiction that distracts us from our emotions so that we don't have to face them. That's past interval. It's reversed, which is telling me that this has not been healthy for you, that it's time to turn it around and face whatever it is you're feeling. Your present interval is the star. It's reversed. Number 17 of the trumps. So this card, the star, is all about directing and channeling. Directing energy currents, directing emotions, channeling them. Um, yeah, learning to learning to face your emotions and channel them through yourself without letting them cripple you and overcome you. Learning to feel your emotions fully without allowing them to dictate how you behave and how you act in the present. Rather, letting yourself feel them and acknowledge them and still choose to be aligned with who you are and what you want out of life. The card is reversed, which indicates to me that you're not getting it right all the time. When you turn around and you face your emotions, oftentimes they lead you to react to what you feel. If it's pain, then you have a tendency to be nasty to the one who caused you pain. Or if it's fear, that it leads you to react to the fear and do something to protect yourself from the fear rather than acting in alignment with what you actually want. Rather than being productive, you're taking yourself away from the fear. And that's okay. It's okay to not get it right every time. The fact is that you are choosing to face your emotions. And so the more that you do that, the better you're going to get at it. And every time that you're able to transmute, every time you face your feelings and you experience it and acknowledge it and choose to be aligned with yourself rather than reacting to the feeling, every time that you do that, it will get easier and better. Future interval, Six of Wands. So this card is saying that it's a good idea to get involved in a group of people or to look around you and see which people in your life are doing this as well, who have experience with their emotional being and with channeling and directing it, and actually communicating with them more and getting to know them better, um, because they will give you the pieces that you need to overcome the limits you have. You have desires for yourself, and facing these emotions is part of accomplishing those desires and making those breakthroughs, and interacting with others who are doing similar things will help you get through your limits. It'll help you see more progress. Okay, let's see who's next. Rakesh Kumar is next. Struggling to get a job, says Rakesh Kumar. Thank you so much for your recognition, Divine Focus, who says how you articulate those cards is amazing. Thank you so much. And welcome to the chat. And Al, you're most welcome. And Tamo, you're most welcome. Thank you, guys. Um, yeah, please feel free to donate, like, subscribe, and follow. A share is also most welcome and appreciated. Thank you so much, guys. Next up, we've got um, Rakesh Kumar, who wants advice on getting a job. How can Rakesh better secure himself and his finances? Past, present, and future. So, Rakesh, your past interval is talking about how you have made efforts to work with other people. You've been working with people, others, to secure yourself financially. Um, Working in a workplace, having a job. This has worked for you. It's given you hope, and it's brought about the amount of security that you needed in order to feel comfortable. That's in the past. In the present, you're in a relationship or you're communicating with people that are close to you, strong relationship, people who are doing the best they can, um, as you're doing the best that you can, and this is This is helping you get closer towards your desire. So your desire is to secure yourself financially, right? And you think that the best way to do this, or the easiest route to this outcome, is to find a job. But pay attention to these relationships and these people who are doing the best that they can with what they have and their resources, because they can teach you something about securing yourself financially without having to depend on an employer. You have a desire in your heart that you want, and is that desire ready to work for someone else? If it is, hey, that's you, you do you. But if not, there are alternatives. So here's a future card, and it is the devil, number 15. And this card talks about how going through this and making your decision about whether you're going to start your own business and invest what resources and what knowledge you have, or if you're going to um, find employment, either which way, you're going to receive some resistance from people in your life and your environment. People who are going to chide you for wanting to work for someone else, people who are going to chide you that you should have a job and that's the only way to secure yourself. And this card just wants to remind you to continue traveling in your direction and let other people travel in their direction. Just have acceptance. You're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing. Don't try and dominate me or force me to subscribe to your reality and your paradigm of how life should work. Let me create my own life and you create your own life. Set up. Next in line is Lauren Pedersen. Lauren Pedersen wants general life advice. Yep, Laura Pedersen, you are up next. And then, who is after Laura? Divine focus. Any good news coming towards me? Yeah, that's something I keep asking the tarot, and the tarot keeps saying, hey, you're going to have to endure this struggle first. You're going to have to endure this difficult period first. And it's like, fuck's sake, can't we just have something easy and good for a change? Why must it always be struggle and suffering and endurance? It's like, haven't I endured enough? Anyway, let's see. I'm sure that the tarot will have something positive for you. Lauren Pedestal General Life Advice is coming up next. What general advice does the universe have for Lauren Pedestal? I used to be quite uncomfortable with general readings because I always relate what I'm reading to the question that I'm asked. But lately I'm finding I'm becoming more comfortable with general readings, and yeah, it's just getting easier. So your first card is the Lovers, number 6 of the Trumps, and this is talking about how you have been in a relationship, or you are still in a relationship, or if you're not, being in this relationship is still impacting. Having been in a relationship is still impacting your present and your future, because this relationship was healthy. Um, you were doing the best that you could with your emotions and your environment and your resources, and your partner was doing the same. This doesn't necessarily imply a romantic relationship. This could be a father-daughter relationship or best friends. any kind of intimate, close relationship, and both of you were operating to the best of your abilities, and through your relationship, you both helped each other. You helped each other grow and conquer one another's challenges. And this led to your present, where, yeah, as a result of overcoming your limits and your challenges, you're now in a place where you're contemplating what you're going to create from your financial reality. Okay, you have a financial reality. You have a home. You probably have some kind of income, but it's not the ideal reality you want to create for yourself. So you're sitting and you're looking at all these different potential pathways that are in front of you, and this card is saying that you've been sitting there a little too long. You've been sitting contemplating all the different roads that you can take a little too long, and it's encouraging you now to choose the financial universe, the financial end goal that you want for yourself. To choose what kind of house you're going to live in one day, what kind of car you're going to drive, what kind of job you have, etc. What your family life looks like. To choose it. Choose it now. Create the vision, and then start making efforts and sowing seeds towards seeing that real. Because as long as you've got all these different pathways in front of you and you haven't chosen one, none of them is becoming real. You've got to choose one and set out towards it. Find ways to make it happen. Your future interval is number 14 of the trumps, and it is called art. This card talks about co-creation, and so it wants to encourage you that once you've chosen the vision you're going to create for yourself, um, to be willing to co-create with others, to allow your creative potential to express itself, and allow that expression to work with other people and their creative expression, because that's going to help you realize your goal. It's going to help you realize your end goal, the vision that you choose, to work with others and to use your creative potential and allow them to integrate their creative potential with yours. So whatever you're creating, because art doesn't necessarily have to be painting or music or dancing. Art can be your literal process of creating security for yourself, financial security. So that process of creating financial security can be of your art form. And when other people are doing that, like we see in the lovers here, when your relationships, the people in your close relationships are doing the same thing, um, those artistic processes can complement one another and help one another grow. So this future interval wants to remind you that to use your creativity and to allow that creativity to complement your partners and your relationships, and to allow their creativity to complement your process, will help you reach your end goal. Thank you very much. Please um, like this video, share it, and yeah, follow my page. If you felt there was value in the spread, please feel free to send me a donation of your choosing. Every little bit helps, guys. Thank you so much. And next we've got Divine Focus on YouTube, looking for any good news coming towards her. And then after that we have Ariane Angel, who has just come into the chat, also on YouTube. Welcome, Ariane. So it says, hi, greetings, new here, may I ask please? Yes, you're most welcome to ask. Ahead of you is Divine Focus, as you can probably see in the comments section. But yeah, go ahead and ask a question, and I answer the questions as I see them. So, Divine Focus, you're up next. And you're most welcome, Lauren. Most welcome. What kind of abundance, blessings, and opportunities are coming to divine focus? Okay, so your first card is the Six of Wands, and it again talks about interacting with a group of people, having been in certain relationships. One person stands out, there's one close relationship there that stands out, but it wasn't just this one person, it was multiple people at the time. Um, who were making you aware of your limits. You were doing the best that you could with what you knew and what you had, the resources at your disposal and the knowledge that you had. You were trying to make your desires real for yourself, and you were doing the best that you could. And then through these relationships and through interacting with these people, you were becoming aware of how you still had limitations, like there were still limits on how quickly you could move towards your objective, your desires, and how much resources you had to sow into your intentions at one time. And this was difficult for you to acknowledge, but by acknowledging your limits and by observing the other people who you were interacting with and this person you were in a relationship with, you were able to take little bits of knowledge and apply it to your process and thereby advance a little bit and overcome some of your limits. In the present, you have been forced into a position where you have to suffer. You have to endure. Suffer as in endure. Like stay strong and just push forward. Um, you're moving towards your desires, and you're working and investing into your intentions. But at the same time, you're not receiving the returns in the way that you had been expecting. And there is resistance and there are challenges that you have to endure and stay focused and stay committed to your intentions and stay committed to your desire. Um, so this card wants to just say that that's admirable. It wasn't necessarily necessary. It wasn't entirely necessary for you to be in this position. There were decisions and choices you could have made um, beforehand to make this process easier, but to stick through it and endure towards the end. This suffering and this endurance, this period of struggle that you're going through, it's going to bring you evolution. It's going to clear away blockages that you had, things that were preventing you from manifesting your desires, are being burned away by this process as you're becoming stronger and growing bigger than those limits. Um, your future interval is fortune. So this wants to talk about, it is talking about how you in the present have reaped a harvest, like you set intentions towards your desires, and now you're going through the struggle um, because you're still committed to your desires and you're just sticking it out. Um, so some of those intentions that are being reaped and some of the returns on your investments are not all that you'd hoped for, like when you sow seeds, when you make investments, your returns are only as big as your investment is. So when you set some of these intentions and you sowed these seeds and you made these investments of time and energy, um, you perhaps expected a bigger return than what you were going to receive, and that was because of the limits on your resources and your knowledge. Um, but the card wants to tell you that you have the opportunity to sow again now because you've come through that and you've learned from others and you've learned through your relationships, and now you have more knowledge and you have more resources at your disposal. So this card wants to encourage you to sow again, make new investments in the present, even as you're suffering, enduring. I don't know why I keep using the word suffering. Endurance is a better word for what's happening. Um, so even while you're enduring the struggle that you're going through, um, to still set new intentions and to sow new seeds and make new investments so that you can receive those returns when you come out of this period, this hangman position, when it turns the right way around, and you come out stronger and having grown bigger than your limits, you will have there'll be more abundance to reap once again. in the outcome. Sinner. Mind Focus says, I love your bio description. Thank you so much. I think it says something about, through my experiences, I have learned to communicate with the unseen worlds, and so I'm here to share that knowledge and wisdom. Yes, I am not at my maximum potential yet. There is so much more I could be doing, but I have like resistance towards it because I often feel like I'm giving more value than I'm receiving, and so like I can do scrying and remote viewing and astral projection, and I'm a powerful manifester and spellcaster and a mystic and medium, but yeah, I don't offer those services for free because even as I'm doing these tarot readings, which I don't even need this tarot deck to do the readings, don't really need the pendulum, but I'm here using these tools because it's what people are used to seeing, and even as I'm doing it, I often feel like I'm giving more value than I'm receiving. Like, so many people get readings and hardly anyone ever donates, and none of my channels are monetized yet because this new YouTube partnership program is absurd. Like, I need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and Twitch has these absurd laws. Like, if you apply for their affiliates program, then you can't apply for YouTube's partnership program at the same time, or anything that you upload to Twitch is owned by Twitch for a day, so I can't do multi-platform streaming. Yeah, and so thank you for your recognition and understanding. There's so much more value that I have to give, and yet I'm afraid to give it out of a fear that I'm not going to get anything in return for it. But then I do like exclusive streams, like on the Sabbaths of the year. You've got the points of the wheel of the year. Then, like, if you look on my channel, you'll find there's a Beltane ceremony stream. And in that stream, I did crack out my scrying ball, and I did use it and offer scrying services and remote viewings. And to be honest, I actually received some of my first donations during that stream. So maybe I should start bringing it out more often. Maybe I should do like once a week where I don't do any tarot and I just do scrying and remote viewing and astral projection and spell casting for people. Maybe I'll see more growth if I do that. Anyway, Libran Lady, welcome. And yes, thank you for chatting with me, Divine Focus, and for hearing me, and you're most welcome for the tarot reading. I'm so glad that it gave you some clarity. That is what I'm here to do, after all. And I came here to offer that value without expectations of return, so I must just move forward and let go of my fears of not receiving any value in return, because when I'm here to give value without expectations, that's when I'm most likely to receive value in return. Well, that's the lesson that the universe has been teaching me anyway. Libran Lady, feel free to ask your question and I'll do your reading. Ariane Angel, I'm waiting for your question. As soon as you ask me a question, I can do your reading for you. There's no one ahead of you in the queue. And Libran Lady as well, if you want to ask a question, I can go ahead and do a reading for you. The way that I do this is that as the questions come through, then I do the readings on those questions. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to reboot the chat because it's frozen. It's not frozen, I still see the messages coming through, but I can't see how many viewers there are. got 3 viewers. Open the chat again. There we go. It's been 2 days. He's my old friend, but we recently started dating. Buffering. Disconnected. Reconnecting. Reconnection successful. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I hope the video didn't split. It's difficult. My PC in the living room, it has some issues with its Wi-Fi connection. So I tried to plug in the cable directly into the PC and then open a hotspot so that the laptop can connect and I can check the chat, but it didn't work. Like, the cell phone can connect to the Wi-Fi, no problem, but the laptop won't connect. And when I don't do this, when I run it straight from the modem to the cell phone and PC, then everyone can access the Wi-Fi, and then they watch YouTube videos and they stream music and they just do whatever they want on the internet, and then occasionally that causes me to drop. But anyway, what are P's feelings towards me after our last meeting? How does P feel? How does P perceive Ariana Angel, based on their last meetings? Past, present, and future. So your past interval is the Knight of Wands. It's reversed, so P has seen how you guys used to have certain desires of what you were, what kind of relationship you were developing. You had desires on how you wanted to see it grow and change, and you had sown some intentions. You'd set some intentions towards the outcome, but it has died. It has shifted.
Just want to say bye.
Okay. Excuse me for a moment.
Probably back on Sunday.
Okay. I'll have to see you this evening. So that reality that you guys were creating together, or that you thought you could create together, it's died, you've let go of it, you are now growing new intentions. And this is something he's witnessed. Both of you have witnessed. Maybe neither of you really understands what's going on or why it's happening this way. But as those old intentions and old desires for this relationship have died, new things are manifesting for this relationship. And that's what you guys are processing, and that's what's created this this distance. It's also what has brought you to your present. So both of you in the present with the Nine of Cups are experiencing this well up of emotions. Those are both positive and negative emotions. You're experiencing like positive emotions as a result of your last interaction, and then accompanied by fears, because you've seen how the old nature of the relationship has fallen away. So this is kind of exciting to see that there's new potential, but it's also frightening, and it feels like everything you've built together is collapsing, and that's not necessarily true. Just what you were building is changing, and it's changing into something new. So future interval is the star, number 17 of the trance, and it's saying that in order to in order to get past these unpleasant feelings that are coming up in the present, you need to direct them rather than react to them. So, like you guys not talking to one another and ignoring one another and creating a space between you, that space is only there because you guys are choosing to have it there. You're experiencing this nervousness and this fear, so you react to that fear by not communicating and not crossing, not closing the gap between you. So this card wants to remind you to face the emotions you're feeling, both the excitements and the fears, and acknowledge them and look at their roots and understand what causes them, what you're afraid will happen, what you're excited will happen, and then instead of reacting to the fear and keeping this distance between you, rather choosing what you actually want from this relationship now that the old desires and the old intentions have fallen away and you've let go of it, um, to now look at what you want to create with this relationship and then communicate that. Just close the gap and communicate it and say, hey, listen, I see that changes have happened. We're both different people. Let's create this. This is what I want to see from our relationship going forward. And if he reacts negatively, he reacts negatively. If you react negatively to things he says, so be it. It doesn't have to destroy the relationship. A relationship doesn't have to be that fragile, and that's what this card is talking about. It's saying that even when these like difficult emotions come up, rather acknowledge them and channel them and don't react to them. And so even when he triggers you or when you trigger him, that doesn't have to create damage to the relationship. You just have to then acknowledge yourself and go and take a moment of quiet time and process what you've just felt, and then the relationship can go on. C'est là. Okay, we have 2 viewers in the chat. We just finished with Ariane Angel's reading on YouTube. Whoever else is in the chat, if you'd like a reading, please go ahead and make a request and I'll do it for you. I've been online for 1 hour and 32 minutes, 34 minutes. And I plan to be on for 2 hours. So I will be giving free readings for 2 hours, and then after that, I'll stick around for a few minutes, and anyone who wants a reading after the 2 hour mark has to make a donation. But in the meantime, we've still got 26, 25 minutes of free readings. So each reading is between 5 and 10 minutes. It's enough time for about 3 readings, maybe 4. Ariana Angel says, makes sense. Thank you and bless you. Bless you too. Peace upon you. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. If you're by the means, please send a donation. All of these things are invaluable. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon. Librarian Lady, I'm glad to see you're still here. Please go ahead and make a request and I will do your reading for you. In the meantime, I'm going to block William Assay Tower reading on Facebook. Awesome. I don't know why they do that. They come on and they start sending messages to people who have already received readings saying, inbox me for your accurate reading. That's not how you expand your reach. That's not how you reach customers. Anyway, I try and explain that to them, but every time it's a different person. So Librarian Lady, would you like a general reading? Because I can do those too. You don't have to ask me a specific question. I can give you a general reading. Just let me know if you'd like to ask a specific question or if you would like a general reading. Thank you. Welcome to the chat, guys. I see we've got 5 viewers now. We went from 2 to 5. Welcome. I keep saying librarian lady, but it's Libran lady. Libran lady on YouTube. What's next between Rax and I? We're seeing each other currently. Cool. Libran lady says, I want us to stay friends even if this doesn't work. What is next for Rax and Libran lady? So your first card is the Nine of Discs. So this talks about arranging one's physical universe. So taking a moment to observe all the efforts that Rax and you have made towards your physical security and your career, to observe all the resources you have and all the efforts you've applied, um, trying to acknowledge yourselves in how you have self-sabotaged and kept yourselves away from the financial reality you wanted. So this is talking all about physical security and financial wealth. Um, Observing and examining all your resources and how you've applied it and how you've gained from it, and how, like, observing your losses and your gains over however long it's been since you set your intentions towards these outcomes. And this period of self-reflection regarding your financial security is something that has created a little bit of distance between the two of you. It is also what has led you into the present, and in the present it is a Seven of Swords. So this Seven of Swords tells me that right now both of you are re-examining your purpose. As a result of this hermitage and this self-reflection on resources and income and losses, you are now examining your purposes individually and collectively. You're asking, oh, did I understand my purpose properly? Did I think this relationship, did I have a preconceived idea of what this relationship's purpose was? And was it accurate? So you're now observing that, and you're looking at all the different pathways that can still happen from here on out. Like you said, will what's going to happen next? You want to be friends if this doesn't work. You're looking at all these possible outcomes. Like in this one you're friends, in this one you're not, in this one you're together, in this one you're married, etc. So what this card wants to say is that you've got to choose one, and you've got to like take steps towards making it real. Look at your heart's desire. What do you actually want from your own life? And then look at that and see what that looks like in the end goal, and look and see if the relationship is aligned with that purpose, and then start making efforts towards making it real, whether or not the relationship is aligned with that purpose. Um, Whether or not you guys will remain friends, this card hasn't got anything to say about that. What it is saying is that you've got to let go of any preconceived ideas of what this relationship's purpose is, and let the relationship tell you what its purpose is, whether it's supposed to be romantic, whether it's supposed to be friendly and platonic, whether it's supposed to be business oriented. Let the relationship just evolve on its own while you individually chase after your own purpose. Your future interval is the Star. So this card here is telling you how you can make sure that your future turns out the way that you envision it. And that is by learning to direct your emotions and channel them. and not reacting to them. So when he says something that triggers you, or you say something that triggers him, and it causes this well up of negative emotions, to acknowledge that your triggers are your own responsibility, and that you need to examine them and try and understand why you feel this way, why his actions make you feel this way, and what the root is. It's probably rooted in some kind of trauma you experienced in past relationships, and and then when you feel those things, instead of reacting to it, like if he says or does something that makes you feel resentful, instead of lashing out and saying something hurtful in return, rather choose to act within alignment of the vision you're creating for yourself. Like if you're feeling a negative emotion and then you react to it, you are separating yourself from your purpose and the vision you're creating for yourself. When you feel something negative and you choose to transmute it and you say, okay, if I react to this emotion, I am stepping further away from my purpose. However, despite feeling this way, I can still act in alignment with what I'm creating. I don't have to worry about what others are doing or saying. I can still continue towards my end goals. And each time that you do this, you will get stronger, and the feelings, the triggers will not be as intense. Every time that you're able to transmute and not react to your emotions, the stronger you get and the less those triggers affect you. Sila, I hope this gives you some clarity, and I hope it helps you move forward in your relationship and bringing it into its trueness and its ultimate potential. I see you've said, yes, that's an issue. Our individual preferences and purposes don't really match. That's okay. You guys can travel in your own individual directions and still support one another in that. It's entirely possible. Deep Tea, welcome. I hope you're doing well. If you have a question, you are more than welcome to ask it, and I can give you a reading. Yeah, so would you like a general reading, or do you have a specific question you'd like answered? Brown Lady says, yes, it does give me hope. Thanks a lot. You're most welcome. If you feel like you've received value from this, please feel free to like and subscribe and share. Also, a donation would be highly appreciated. It's optional, entirely optional. Dipti says, future spouse reading, future spouse meeting. How will it be? I love that today we've had most of our viewers on YouTube. Yesterday, most of our viewers came through Facebook. Today, most of our viewers are coming through YouTube, and I love that. I really love that. Cosmic Dust says hello and greetings. Hello, Cosmic Dust, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to ask a question and I can give you a reading. I have been on for an hour and 45 minutes. My free readings end at 2 hours. So let's see, 15 minutes from now, and it will be 20 past 5. So 20 past 5 plus 2 GMT, free readings come to an end, but until then, free readings are open. Anyway, doing Deep Tea's reading on a future spouse meeting. Hey man, watch what you're doing. Welcome. It's nice to see you. Give me some space, hey? What does Deep Tea's future spouse meeting look like? Thank you so much for the like and the subscribe, DT. So your past interval is the Prince of Wands. This one is talking about your desire to be married and to meet a spouse. Um, how you have, in the past, in previous relationships, you tried to force yourself into a position where that desire will manifest. Like you've gone into the relationship intending to make that into your spouse relationship, to endure and go through anything that they might throw at you just to make sure that it manifests as a marriage. In the present, I see a Nine of Wands. It's reversed, so the Nine of Wands talks about coming close, coming very close to having your desires. So the intentions that you've set to manifest a spouse, you have come real close to seeing that manifest for yourself. In the present, you probably, I don't know, you probably have someone in mind that you have been dating or interacting with, and you feel like this person um, is the spouse you're waiting for. And so, for that reason, you feel like you're very close to having what you desire. However, the card being reversed informs me that it's too soon to make that judgment. Um, that there's disappointment on the horizon. If you take it too seriously and you think that this person you've just met is going to turn out to be your spouse, it's probably going to lead to disappointment. However, the card also wants to say that you don't need to be afraid to go into a relationship with them, but go in and let go of this past cycle. Don't put yourself in there trying to force it to be a marriage relationship. Go in there with the intentions to learn about that person and to learn if they are a good match for you. Because if you do this consistently in every relationship, you're going to open yourself up to abuse, and that's never a good thing. Um, Future interval is the Ace of Wands, and what this one wants to say to you is that when you do go into relationships, and you communicate with him, don't hide the fact that you are looking for a marriage relationship, that you're looking for a spouse. Don't hide that fact. When you meet people and they ask you out, or when you go out on dates, this is something that you should put on the table soon. This card is warning you that to miscommunicate and to keep that aspect of, of your desires and your intentions to yourself, um, not a good idea. Just speak clearly. Put your intentions on the table. Doesn't mean that this is with a new person. If you are currently in a relationship and you're doing this, you're staying in that relationship no matter what they throw at you, no matter what you have to go through, um, because you wholeheartedly believe that this should be your spousal relationship, then no, that's not the relationship you should be in. You can change it. You don't have to end this relationship. You just got to stop this. You got to stop this cycle of trying to force every relationship to be a spouse relationship, to just let the relationship flow. Because expecting every relationship to turn out that way, hoping beyond hope and like trying to force it, is not beneficial to you. It's leading to constant disappointment. And also, stop miscommunicating. If you want that kind of relationship, you want that spousal connection, make sure that your partner or your partners from here on out are aware that this is what you want. From day one, they need to know that this is what you're looking for. And that you're dating so that you can get to know them and get to know if they are husband or wife material. Not just because you want to fuck. Communicate. No miscommunication. That's what that card wants to tell you. Selah. Thank you so much. Cosmic Dust. If you have a question that you'd like to have answered, or if you'd like a general reading, please let me know. There's no one else in the queue. We've got 9 minutes left on the clock. What's coming towards me in love this December? I am single, seeking a spouse. Deepti says, thank you so much. You're most welcome. And thank you for the like and the subscribe. Please feel free to donate as well if you are by the means. Thank you. It's good to feel appreciated. So, cosmic dust. What does December 2021 hold for cosmic dust's love life? So, your first card is number 7 of the trumps. It's the Chariot. So, this card is telling me how, like, in November and like October, November, in the months leading up to this point in the present, you have been looking at all these like possibilities of a love life, looking at all these different um, potential relationships that you could develop. And yeah, that's not a bad thing. The card also telling me that at the same time you were trying to acknowledge, trying to realize that self-work is important, that you've got to look at yourself and choose a direction that your life is heading in, and love yourself before a relationship of healthy magnitude will manifest. And so that's something great that you chose that and you're stepping into it and you're embodying it, and you set your chariot in motion. You're moving towards the objective that you want for your life, and that's what's brought you into the present, which is a Nine of Cups. And this Nine of Cups is talking about evolving emotions, how your emotions are evolving up. You're feeling a sense of excitement, like there's definitely something coming to you this December because of the work you've done here in the past with this Chariot card. Um, and it's true, it will come to you. The emotional fulfillment is coming to you. All of this excitement and all of this welling up of good feels, it's coming from you. It's not coming from a relationship, it's not coming from outside sources, and that's incredible. To be able to find that emotional abundance and wellspring within oneself is so instrumental. And in my personal experience, only once I can find the satisfaction within myself, then suddenly relationships appear. Um, like the moment that I'm content within myself and happy and excited within myself and my own self-expression and my own self-love, that's when someone else who is also in that kind of state of being, in that emotional fulfillment, self-fulfillment, will manifest and a relationship will just form between me and them. So future interval here is the Princess of Discs, and this card is talking about sex. It's talking about sexual interaction. Um, so it's saying that there is potential for a lot of sexual pleasure in 2021, but not necessarily spouse material going to manifest in 2021. So it's important to stay self-fulfilled here and then identify whether or not you want this kind of like casual sexual experience throughout 2021. December, the card is reversed, indicating that it's going to take from you if you go this route and you um, just have fun and let go. It's going to take a little bit away from this, but if you go into it with that in mind, you can stay self-fulfilled. Um, yeah, so I guess it's up to you. There isn't necessarily spousal material about to manifest in December 21, but 2022 January, definitely in the new year 2022, most definitely potential there. 2021 December time is always holiday vibe. People are traveling, people are drinking, people are taking drugs. Everything is casual and nonchalant. It's holiday time, so even people who might be good husband or wife material are not going to express themselves that way during the holiday seasons. Just something to keep in mind as you go through the holiday seasons. rather look. I mean, I wouldn't suggest looking for a relationship you don't involve in casual. That's admirable. Well done, because it does take from a person. It takes from us. Um, yeah. I would suggest that you not look for a spousal relationship. You need to look within yourself for fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, sexual fulfillment, physical fulfillment. Once you can, once you can be full in yourself, then someone else who is full in themselves will manifest, and that'll come in 2022. If you sow seeds into making yourself full now, in 2022, someone else who has done the same will manifest in your life. Selah. You're from a traditional Indian culture. Does that imply Hinduism? Because there is Islam in India as well, and there's a whole plethora of different practices and traditions in India. But anyway, yes. Hello Lunari on Twitch, welcome, and hello Coffee and Law. Coffee and Law. If you would like a reading, there is still time for one more reading. I can do it for you, but that will be the last free reading of the day. I feel sad right now because he is acting so cold to my messages. What's the advice or his true feelings for me, please? Okay. Just to let everyone know, this is the last free reading of the day. Thanks a lot, QJ's his cosmic dust. You're most welcome. Help Coffee and Law understand why his or her partner is acting cold towards him or her. Past, present, and future. Lunari 7 on Twitch. This reading that I'm doing now for Coffee and Law on YouTube is the last free reading that I'm doing for the day. If you would like a reading, please send a donation of your choosing. That wouldn't make it a free reading. Excuse my language stutter. Free readings are done. This is the last one. If you would like a reading, you will either have to join me again when I come on live in the next live stream, or you can make a donation of your choosing to receive your reading. Coffee and Law, your first card is number 8 of the trumps. It's called Adjustment. So this card is talking about how you have both gone through some shifts. You've looked at your life and the way that you handle your emotions and the way that you handle your resources and your income and your expense, and you've identified that there is a lack of balance there. In the amount of emotional value you give out versus how much that comes in. You've noticed there's a lack there, so you are going through some shifts and some changes, both of you, and making adjustments to yourselves in the way that you interact with your life, so that there can be a better balance between income and expense. Income of emotion, emotional fulfillment, output of emotional fulfillment, income of finance, output of finance. You're making adjustments to create balance between that, so that there's no more loss, in essence. And this adjustment, this period of adjustment, is something that is creating this distance between you, that's creating this closing of his heart. Because maybe he has felt like he's giving more than he's receiving, or maybe you have been feeling like you've been giving more than you're receiving, and now you're making those adjustments, and so it's making him turn cold. One way or the other, that's what's happening here. That's what has brought us to the present. In the present, we have an 8 of Cups. So again, talking about shifts, particularly about emotional shifts. And as you said, you're feeling sad right now and he's acting cold. Both of you are experiencing emotional shifts, and certain emotional cups in your being are feeling like they're left empty. Um, and only certain cups are being filled, but this shift is necessary. As you go through this sadness, and as he goes through this sadness, it's making him turn cold. It is You're facing it at least. You're not distracting yourself like I am by smoking and drinking coffee. You're facing your feelings and acknowledging the cups that are being left empty and acknowledging the cups that are being filled. And this shift is important because as you go through this shift and you confront these feelings, then you can communicate to one another about how you're feeling and how one another has made each other feel. You can say to him, this and that is what has caused me to feel so such and such and such, and I would love it if you could tell me what I've done or said that is causing you to feel this way. As you go through this shift, you can create better balance in the outcome. Neither of these cards is reversed, so it's not implying that the relationship is coming towards an end. This is just a shift that's going to create better balance within the relationship, better balance within all kinds of flow. All the emotional flow and energetic flow and monetary flow, all of that is going to get better now because of the shift that you're going through. Balance is sought after. The reason you're going through this shift is because both of you know that there is not balance yet, and something needs to shift to create that balance. Future interval, which is the Seven of Swords. Now, this card wants to tell you what you need to do in the present in order to make the future that you'd want become real for both of you and the relationship. So, Seven of Swords talks about contemplating all of the potential and all the opportunities, all the different pathways that are in front of you. So, it wants to encourage you in the moment to let go of your preconceived ideas of what the relationship looks like or should look like. Let go of your preconceived ideas of what the relationship's purpose is and what you're supposed to get out of it. Rather focus on what you can add to the relationship. Rather focus on what you're developing for yourself, what you desire in your heart, and what actions you're going to take towards manifesting that. So you see all these different pathways, and while you're contemplating all these different futures and outcomes, none of them is happening for you guys. You have to take a moment and sit and choose which one is real for you and which one you're going to make real for yourselves. And once you choose it, you can start taking actions towards seeing it realized. And that's what this card wants to suggest to you, that you take that and you choose the outcome that you guys are looking for and start taking steps towards that. To lay your cards on the table and to literally just communicate what you're feeling and what you guys want from your lives and how this relationship can help you both get to those outcomes. Silla. Thank you very much, guys. That was the last free reading of the day. I'm going to wait. Actually, I don't think I can wait. I've got quite a few things to do. So thank you so much, everybody, and thank you, Coffee and Law, for the subscription and the like. Please feel free to donate if you buy the means. It would